Hello everyone, Foundation Afro here, and this is my review of volumes 6 through 10 of The Walking Dead. So please be aware of spoilers. Here's number 10 right here. Wow. A lot of bad stuff goes down in these volumes. It seems that Robert Kirkman, the writer of the series, has to keep up a death per issue ratio, and it's not high enough. For example, when they're in the prison and they're relatively safe, he has to make it all up by smushing a bunch of deaths together at once. They find the town of Woodbury and the town tax. I kind of knew that they'd be driven out of the prison because if they're just stayed in prison for the rest of, if they had been driven out by someone, it would have gone pretty stale. But oh, the governor is a madman, and all those lies he told to make it look like Rick and his crew were the crazy ones, so that the people of Woodsbury would attack them. He's just, oh. Like, never mind the amount of people in the group he killed. The fact that he killed Lori and her newborn baby, man, can't believe when that happened. That was one of the that was, I'm sure, the worst death so far in the series. Like, after all the people who had died, and then Lori and her baby die. It was really, really rough. I can't believe that happened. I thought at least Rick, Carl, and Lori would be safe. From the beginning, when I heard Lori's pregnant, I thought something might happen to the baby, which would be horrible enough. But when something happens to both of them, I thought at the very least the whole family would be safe. Oh man. And then they go on the road. We finally learn what's behind Makone's random talking. She's talking to her sister, I believe. Un momento. No, she's talking to her boyfriend, sorry. But she has that, and then Rick has that phone where he hears Lori on the other end, and they're all just slowly going crazy. And it's really rough. And with Rick going crazy, the fact that the group is really starting to lose their trust in him, and there are lots of people who don't want to stay with him. It happened at the prison, and now it's happening with Andrea and Daryl. Sorry, I mentioned his bad names before. Dale. Andrea and Dale at the end. Dale doesn't really want to stay with them. Andrea says they have to. But everyone's losing their trust. Also, that government official they find It said it was a weapon that was supposed to wipe out areas of people, but somehow it got loose in the States and presumably the rest of North America, if not the world. And other than that, he won't say anything. Like, it's interesting to finally know somewhat how the plague started. But that is just crazy that it was not intentionally started per se, but the plague was invented to be started intentionally. Maybe this one wasn't. Oh man. So they're trying to get to Washington DC because the government official thinks that's the safest place, but I don't think so. Like, why should... It says Washington has all these safeguards against it, but last time I checked, Washington is a big city, and when they tried to go to Atlanta, that didn't work very well. Rick almost got killed. Right in the very first volume, they had to move camp because it was right beside the city. And it was a really unsafe place to be, so I don't really know a lot about sizes of American cities, but I'm guessing Washington is way bigger than Atlanta just because it's the capital of the US, and I may be wrong about this, but I don't think Atlanta's that big to begin with. I really don't know. But it's interesting they found sorry, bad with names. Mitchell? No. Morgan is his name. They found Morgan, who Rick met about a year ago in Volume 1 in Walking Dead Canon Time. He's still alive, living in a small town, but his son got bitten, and he kind of did what the governor did with that girl, keeping his son tied up and feeding his things, because he couldn't let go of his son. Oh, jeez, and that's really rough. And then when he meets Carl, it seems he's trying to take Carl on as a son. And because his son and Carl are about the same age, and he says, "Oh, I see so much of my son in you," and oh man, it must be devastating for him. And he's supposed to shoot his son, and he doesn't. He just leaves his son there because he doesn't want his son to actually die. Oh, jeepers, jeepers, jeepers. So much bad stuff went down. Oh. Like Maggie. That was rough. Maggie trying to kill herself, and Glenn finds her. This is like a month after they'd gotten married. Like that one issue 6, was so nice. Glenn and Maggie get married. Oh no, that's issue 7. Glenn and Maggie get married. Lori, I think it's 7. Yep. They get married. Lori finally gives birth to her baby. And then a break comes along, the government attacks, and everything just goes bad again. I was worried after that when the government attacked and they got all to prison. And just Rick and Carl. I thought it might be kind of a slow beginning again, where they'd spend a lot of time trying to find new people. But then they found the group almost pretty quickly who had left the prison. First they find Makoni. Then not long after that they find the group had left the prison in the first place. It was nice to see some familiar faces instead of meeting like a whole group of new people. I don't know how long those familiar faces are going to last, but hopefully can't talk today. Hopefully once they do kick the bucket, the new people that are being added to the group will have become familiar faces, because as rough it is to see these people dropping like flies, there's always more of them that the reader gets used to and will eventually drop like flies. And one more thing that comes right at the end of Volume 10. How in Volume 9, that small group they meet up with talks about a herd, where the zombies are just so stupid. And they see one guy walking, and they're like, oh, I'll follow him. The other guy comes, there's like, oh, I'll follow him. And then maybe two groups meet up and they all keep going in some random direction, because the first guy is following the second guy, who's following the third guy, who's following the first guy. So they're just really going wherever they're going. And then one guy mentions at the end how unsafe it can be, because they can just stepping past a house, one zombie can brush up against it, the second zombie sees that, thinks that the first zombie touched the house because there's someone in there, starts banging down the door, and the first zombie sees him banging down the door, starts banging it, he starts banging it down too, and then they all just start doing that. It's really, really scary. And then they meet up with this herd of like 2,000 zombies, and they just book it out of there, like pack up as fast as they can. The herd is like 10 minutes behind them. They have to get out of the farm and get to, like, they're not going to get to Washington right away, like just get to wherever they can get to and hope they lose the herd, because if they don't, they're in trouble. There's no way they can get out of that. And that's pretty much all I have to... Oh, doorbell. Okay, anyway, that's all I have to say. So, if you've read these volumes, read The Walking Dead, like The Walking Dead, please tell me below what you thought. If you like this video, please be sure to give me a like and subscribe. There'll be more Walking Dead content in the future. I'm slowly catching up to the newest volumes. I'll be kind of sad once I get there. Everybody's like, oh yeah, newest volumes, I can read them as soon as they come out. But I'll just be like, man, I have to wait. So look forward to more reviews of The Walking Dead. This Foundation Afro is saying bye bye and see you next time.